Hello and welcome to Prateek Chess Videos.
Hey chess fans, today we are going to see a game between Karpov and Korchnoi in the year 1978. This game was played in the World Championship of 1978. This game was a very good game of Karpov. He showed how to slay the Sicilian dragon as he confidently dodges Korchnoi's preparation and then wins the game by his mind-blowing combination. Okay, enough give it away. Let's start the game. Now the game started. E4, C5, knight F3, knight C6 is the leads to the accelerated dragon. We are playing the dragon here. D6, D4 takes, takes, knight F6, knight C3, G6. Now, in that time, Korchnoi was the most renowned player of the Sicilian Dragon, the best player of the Sicilian Dragon, and he had played the Sicilian Dragon in 1971 against his candidate match against Geller, though it was doubted because of the Dragon's then dubious reputation. But soon the Dragon regained the reputation because of Korchnoi. So here that's why uh, G6 was played. Korchnoi was a huge player of the Sicilian Dragon. Let's start the game again. So now bishop e3. Let's Now this is the opening theory of the dragon. There's also the move bishop to e2, leading to the variation I can't recall, classical variation. Yes, which is a which is a quite variation. There's also this d3 move which leads to the fianchetto and bishop c4, uh, which is also a move. Then f4 is the 11th fish variation. There's also f3 transposing to the dragon, and also there's bishop to g5, bishop g7, bishop b5 check, bishop d7, queen e2, this variation. So there are a lot of variations, but bishop e3 is the main line, bishop g7. Now f3, there's also bishop to e2, classical variation transposing into it. Now f3, knight c6, queen d2, now short castle, bishop to c4. Karpov now perhaps would have chosen long castle due to his positional style, but then Karpov was a very let's say a very strong player in attacking, and he often preferred attacking in that time rather than playing positionally. But over time he developed the habit of playing positionally, and he's now a positional player. But then he was an attacking one. So bishop to d7 was played. Main variation, long castle. This is the Yugoslav attack of the most complex variation uh, in chess, the Sicilian dragon. Now what was played? Well, rook to c8 was played here, so that now it can play knight e5. And actually, there's a nasty threat here for them who haven't noticed. The threat is to play here. Here many people blunder g4. So, whoops, not g3, g4. See, there's even one game of a 2 to 1 3 blundering it. Knight into d4, queen into d4, knight into g4, and now the game is lost because now you have to play, your queen is under attack and also a bishop is. So now obviously you need to play something like, just let's say, queen d2. If queen d3, then knight into e3, queen into e3, and now rook into c4. Then if you take the a7 pawn, then you are in more danger because now there's queen c7, or overall you are literally lost here. So that's why you shouldn't play g4, and this is a little trap, and the best move in the theory is to play bishop to b3, and now here knight e5 and theory continues. But in the game, Karpov chose this with an interesting move order. He first played h4. Okay, h4, rook c8, and after h4, rook c8 came bishop to b3. Now, obviously, bishop to b3, you saw it. g4 is a blunder because now knight into d4, queen into d4, knight into g3, and knight into g4, queen d3, and then knight to e5 is also good, knight into e3 is also good. Now you take bishop into f7, or just queen into e3, rook into c4, knight d5, e6, and play this position with a beach down. Okay, sounds good for black. That's why it isn't good, obviously. So after bishop to b3, now it was played knight to e5. And knight to e5 idea is to play knight to c4, and after long castle there are two moves in the theory. h5 is the main move here, and h5 is the most played, but in the game was played knight to c4, which is like the old move here, bishop into c4, rook into c4, and this is like the old variation of this because now there's an this whole theory going h5. Well, idea of h5 is to open the h line for the rook and the queen to dominate. Now knight into h5 is a pawn sacrifice. Now comes g4, knight f6, and now we dominate. Well, how exactly? Okay, now we play knight de2, which is actually refuted now. Knight de2 was the move then, but then the players found its refutation is rook e8. This brilliant move. Uh, okay, brilliant is a bit too much, but Karpov here. Karpov here in his book here rook e8, he dubbed it a brilliant move because we just step out of the attack the right time, uh, make our attacks right, because now after bishop h6 is bishop h8. So now after knight d2, rook e8. Here this is getting a little problematic for white to be better. So after d4, knight f6, the main move is actually bishop to h6. Then knight into e4, queen e3, rook into c3, b into c3, knight f6 with a unclear dull position. But white, uh, still black with play can draw because he has a bishop and two pawns versus a rook, so that would be enough, and also the king side structure is destroyed. But white has the h file, so this is an equal position, but unclear. Okay, now in the game, but in the game was played knight d2, and Korchnoi didn't find this rook e8 and played queen a5. After which there is this whole Karpov's preparation with bishop h6. Firstly, getting the bishop here, then bishop into g7 and queen h6 will come. So rook fc8. Now rook fc8 is the main move in this position, which leads to a better position, and it's also the best move. The second best move is to play bishop h8, sacrificing an exchange. Here Karpov said that this bishop h8 moves in spirit of Vla- Vladimir Vladimir Sverin, one of the most creative players of all time. Uh, in his spirit, because now after bishop to h8, here we sacrifice the exchange, but for good to preserve the dragon bishop. That's why he said this bishop h8 sacrifice is in spirit of him, because this sacrifice is actually played by GM Vladimir Simagin in a game and won the game. It was a beautiful game. So after bishop to h6 comes bishop into h6, queen into h6, rook fc8, and now comes the move rook to d3. This was a part of Karpov's preparation, solidifying the knight, and now rook for c5, and now the the combination to push the victory home, because now if you can see, we are 2.7 better. So now you should pause the video and ready. Here it comes g5. Brilliant. First thing g5. Now idea of g5 obviously is to get the knight out of here and then queen into h7. But you may be wondering why I can't g5 now, because now after g5, knight h5, knight g3, there's rook into c3, and this puts a halt in your plan and is also losing for you. So that's why you should not lose your spirit in the dragon. So now after rook force e5, g5, and now rook into g5, and now here comes the blow. What should we play here? Now comes rook to d5, brilliant move. The rook sack now. Now this isn't just a brilliant interference tactic. Here the idea is that if you take rook into d5 happened in the game, knight into d5 is queen into h7 check, king f8, queen h8 mate. And here we are also threatening your queen and the rook, so you have to take here on d5. No other choice. And now there's knight into d5. Well, so exactly how is the knight into d5? What is the idea? So the idea of knight into d5 is just to mate here with, we cannot mate, but we can win an exchange with knight e7, knight c8. So this is the idea. So now what should you black play? After knight into d5, black played rook to e8, defending the pawn. And now what should you play? Well, knight f4, continuing the attack in fashion. And now we support the knight. Then both knights come, and now there's a crushing threat. Bishop c6, and now pause the video and think for the most spectacular move of this game. E5, leaving everything under attack, but it's still working somehow. Okay, complex variations here, but knight into d5 is made by check. Here mate. D into e5. Here is made by takes, 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 I think. Nope, it is not made by takes, takes, takes. D into e5 is just a simple knight into f6 here, and then a beautiful knight h5 with the idea of g into h5, rook g1 check, king h8, queen into f6 is made. So here after an e5, now there he played bishop into d5, but now e into f6, threatening queen g7 mate, and also queen into h7, and then queen h8 mate. So now after e into f6 came e into f6, but as they say, it's never too late to blunder. So okay, now if you think of uh, uh, two moves, knight h5 in the spirit of the previous combination, idea of knight into f6 and then queen g7. Well, as you can already see, it's a blunder because here comes the sobbing move, rook to e1 check, and now a punch right to the face for white, and now you're losing because takes mate. And if you here play knight into d5, trying to play here, firstly rook e1 check is just over. But your idea was just to play takes, check, here rook e1. Then it's bad because rook e1 check is coming. So knight into d5 is again a blunder. But well, uh, but Karpov wasn't this unalert, and he played queen into h7 check, king to f8, queen h8 check, king e7, knight into d5 check, queen into d5, rook e1 check. And now finally, actually, here after queen h8 check, black black resigned, and here the result boils down to 1-0. Amazing game by Karpov. He just demolished the dragon. Just his plan of here bishop h6, rook d3, followed by this amazing combination of d5, rook d5, knight f4, then e5, and then it was over. So, alright, this was the game. I hope you like this video and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe. Thank you.